I had to hit Aldi this weekend for some produce. Trader Joe's was a lot of fun, but it wasn't practical food, and I need to get some stuff for meal prepping for the week, so I'm going to head on in and get to shopping. I was really surprised to see that they had zucchini for $1.45 a pound, but only the organic. The regular zucchini was $2.29 a pound, go figure. Last week they had the regular for 99 cents a pound, but I didn't make it to Aldi, so I'm going to score a little bit of this today. I was sad to see butter has gone up another 9 cents a pound. It had been being $3.18 a pound. This Land O'Lakes pumpkin pie spice butter looked intriguing, but then I got to looking at the ingredients and it's full of sugar, and no thanks. I'll save my sugar for something other than butter. So I passed. I'm here for the pumpkin spice cream cheese, and it looks like they're out. Or I'm not looking in the right spot. I'm always interested to see other people's grocery hauls showing things that most of us buy on the regular, and I know a lot of you guys buy iced coffee, so I thought I'd show you these prices on the Starbucks and the Stokes. Also coffee creamer. The almond milk pumpkin spice is around $3.50 here at Aldi, and that's probably on par with the other big stores here in my area, but the regular pumpkin spice creamer in the Aldi brand is only $2.49 compared to $3.77 for the international, and that is at least $1 below what you'd pay for the international at like a Publix here in my area. So Aldi definitely is winning the game there. And eggs are, not bad this week. I need some more heavy whipping cream, so I'm going to snag some of that. And then I looked up and saw bourbon caramel and pumpkin pie spice whipped cream, and I got distracted and almost forgot my cream. And I'm going to give you a quick peek-see at the cage-free, pasture-raised type eggs here at Aldi. The prices are not bad compared to what we were paying a year ago, right? I wanted to show you the regular egg prices, but the clerk was down there. Those were $1.07. So here's my little Aldi haul. Let's go over the items that are non-food first. And I'll start by saying there are 2 small Christmas presents that I purchased today for my daughters who watch my channel. So those aren't present. And this little pumpkin craft kit is a present for a coworker who's always so sweet about bringing things back from her travels for me, and I wanted to get her a little something. And this marble napkin holder, OMG, you guys, I know this is silly, but this has been on my list to buy one of these for at least 6 months, and I haven't been able to find one at any store. Not a TJ Maxx, Home Goods, anywhere, nowhere. The only place I could find one was on Amazon, and that was about $15. And this thing is so good quality. I can't even begin to tell you how heavy it is. And I got it for $9.99, so $10 plus tax, and I'm thrilled to have that. And then I had to restock on my face moisturizer once day and once night. And then this little ladle, this is where the tag was. I'm hoping Gugon will get rid of that. This was $4.99, and it's just such good quality. And the only soup ladle I have is an old plastic one that's at least 15 years old, super discolored, and I just couldn't resist. I had to snag it, and it matches this that I got a couple of weeks ago. Well, quasi matches, and I love it. So for $5, I said, yeah, I'm gonna get it. And then here are all the food items. The best deal of the day were these apples. These were $1 just because they were such a great deal. You know, it's apple season, but I never see them go under $1.99 a bag ever in my area here in South Florida. And I use baked apples on the regular, and I'm also planning on using some in some fall salads. So I was happy to get those. And then if you've watched a previous video of mine, I was whining about how expensive butternut squash is and how much I love it. And the cheapest I've been able to find it until today was $1.49 a pound. Aldi had these for 99 cents a pound. And I tried to get ones that were, you know, all the good meat and not much on the bulb end that's mostly full of seeds. So these two together came to $4.57. And I bought one a couple of weeks ago at $1.49 at Farmer's Market, and that thing cost me right out about $4.50. So twice as much to eat there. I was excited about that. Eggs were $1.07 today. And then I had to get the usual green stuff, restock. And then pumpkin spice whipped cream. That was just a smidge over $2. And not only do I love pumpkin spice anything, but the calories on this are so reasonable. 2 tablespoons for only 15 calories. And I figure, that's great. You know, a little squirt of that on top of a coffee and it'll taste like dessert. And that's not much of a haul, but I'm hoping that'll be my last one for the month. And I'll go over the receipt with you really quick. I spent a total of $73, but only $30.84 of that was actual food. And really more like $28 because this is for the birds and I'm not eating it. And I'm hoping I'm not too far over my $50 people food budget for the month. If I can stay out of the store for the next 2 weeks, we'll see what I do. Now it's time for the meal prepping. Okay guys, I've decided I have got to satisfy my pistachio craving. And other than making some plain old pistachio pudding, sugar-free of course, which is not very exciting, I've been looking up, you can make pistachio ice cream, etc., but I really wanted to find a recipe for pistachio protein balls, as in low carb. Couldn't find one. Dug pretty hard. I'm sure there's one out there somewhere, but you know, I'm gonna give Google 15 minutes, and if it doesn't turn up, I'm gonna figure it out, right? Because I'm living alone. I'm not trying to make a sheet pan full of you know, low carb, high protein, pistachio layered cheesecake pudding kind of thing, which looked incredible. I'll put a picture up here. That was the closest I could come to a recipe that really appealed. And I'll put a link down below for that. But in my experience, that kind of a fabulous recipe really needs to be eaten within 48 hours max, or it just kind of gets, you know, watery, soggy. I'm trying to make something kind of like a protein ball that can be put in the freezer and one taken out here and there, you know, to satisfy a craving. I'm not trying to feed a crowd. So the game plan that I am hodgepodging together is kind of a hybrid of that layered pudding dessert and protein cheesecake balls. So because I'm working with instant pudding for the first time and trying to make protein balls meets layered pudding dessert, I've decided to go with kind of the mini cupcake idea. And I'm going to put some crushed pistachios that I'm going to mix with some golden monk fruit and a little teeny tiny bit of melted butter just to kind of bind everything. And I'm going to do, you know, a low carb version of a cheesecake pseudo graham cracker crust in the bottom of these mini muffin cups. And then I'm going to soften the cream cheese, dump in this package of, it's a small package, of the sugar-free pistachio pudding. Then I'm gonna do a half a cup of protein powder, around 110 grams of protein total. I'm not sure how many of these little mini cupcake things I'm going to be able to fill. So once I have that number, I'll do the final math and let you know what the per serving nutrition breakdown is, and I'll put that down in the description box below and up on the screen. I'm gonna put these crushed pistachios, which I crushed with my kitchen mallet, because I'm a savage like that, in my bowl here. And in addition to making what I hope is a tasty, high protein, low carb dessert, I am also doing a bit of use it up here. I've got about 2 tablespoons of this golden monk fruit in this package. I'm gonna mix these two together. Then I'm gonna throw a little melted butter in there. Maybe I'm gonna melt 1 tablespoon, and hopefully I don't even need all of that because I don't want it to be greasy. I just, want them to hold together. All right, so I have my 1 tablespoon of melted butter, and I'm gonna add this just about a teaspoon at a time and see where I get with the consistency. I'm gonna call this sufficiently moist. Now I'm gonna spoon these pistachio crumbs into each of these. I'm gonna start with about a teaspoon and see what that does for me. Well, I've got enough of this crumb mixture to do about 4 more of these. So I'm just gonna go for it, and hopefully I'll have enough filling for another 4. All right, so I've got my softened cream cheese here. And I'm gonna tell you from tasting a little bit of that pistachio crumb mixture, that alone tastes really good. I'm gonna attempt to kind of smash this pudding mixture into the cream cheese a little bit before I add the yogurt, just because I think this cream cheese needs a little softening or mixing, kind of like you would butter, creaming butter and sugar together for a frosting. I'm gonna use up the last of this yogurt that's been riding around way too long in my refrigerator, but it still smells good, looks good, tastes good. It's going in. I'm gonna cream this up. I may decide I need to add a little milk, but I don't want to if I can avoid it, because again, I want this to be kind of a frozen quasi ice cream dessert. I don't want it to get too liquidy. Needing to add some milk because this is pretty darn thick, but I want to get this well mixed before I add the powder. My arm's tired now. All right, using up the last of this, which is the same as that, but call me odd. I just don't like dealing with bags of things, because if you don't get the little zipper thing shut all the way, yada yada. And protein powder is so expensive, I decided to put it in this jar. And everything that's on here still applies, except the expiration date's gonna change, so I'll line through that and change it to whatever that one is. All right, so we're calling that 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I either need to freeze it or use it, even though I only paid $1.50. Okay guys, so here's my pudding mixture. It's very thick, but it's, I think maybe gonna set up a little more. I'm gonna taste this now to see if it needs some sweetener. Yeah, a little bit. So I'm going to use some of this confectioner's sugar because I don't want it to be gritty, you know, like a granular sugar would be. Oh, tastes fine. I think that's probably going to be plenty, but again, I can always add more. I think I just added about 1/3 of a cup, maybe 1/4 of a cup. Time for another taste test. Maybe just a little more. That was probably a tablespoon. Okay, one more taste test. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So we're filling these bad boys. I'm gonna go for close to the top. I have enough pudding mixture here left to do at least another 8, maybe even 12 of these. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill these 4, but then I'll be out of these mini silicone cupcake liners. So I'm just gonna fill 4 and throw the rest of this in Ziploc bag. All right, so I still have about a cup of the mixture left. Now what I'm gonna do is sprinkle a little of the mixture that I put on the bottom, just a little bit for, you know, pretties on the top here. Whoops, all right. Okay guys, here's my little pistachio beauties, and I am going to throw these in the freezer. And I can tell they're going to be delicious. Now, if pistachio isn't your thing, you could always do this with a chocolate pudding, a vanilla pudding, a lemon pudding. And instead of using crushed pistachio nuts, you could use almond flour or walnuts, pecans, you know, anything along those lines, or even a low-carb, sugar-free wafer of some kind, you know, a cookie wafer. All right, and that's my labeled protein powder. Doesn't expire till 2025. Okay, so here's my little mini pistachio cheesecake. So cute. Came right out of that silicone cup, no problem. The crust came with it. So now it's time for a bite. My favorite part of the day. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, you guys. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 for what I wanted it to be, which was creamy, kind of like ice cream meets cheesecake, pistachio flavored, and perfect little individual size. Definitely a win in my opinion, and really not that much work. You know, it looked like a lot of work because I was videotaping it, but in reality, if I'd just been going to town without a camera and trying to talk to you all, I've had that banged out in 15 minutes or less and into the freezer. Now, I will say, try to take a bite of this. It was pretty darn rock hard, solid, frozen. I mean, I was able to bite it, obviously, but I would recommend letting it sit out for just a minute or two. But, delicious. Definitely a winner. For under 65 calories and 5 grams of protein and only 2 grams of carbs. Now let's take a look at the rest of the meal preps I made for the coming week. Because I've made a lot of these dishes before on my channel, I'm just going to give you an overview of what I've prepped. I made another batch of keto granola. I'll link that video down below. I've got 16 there, so that's a solid 3 weeks worth. Then I made another batch of baked apples, and I've bagged up some fresh blueberries to go with the yogurts. I also made a batch of bacon, and the Springer Mountain Farm chickens I'll put on my salads. I've also got some salmon there, a couple servings worth. I roasted a pan of broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and zucchini. I prepped 3 containers of chopped kale that'll add the roasted butternut squash, pecans, cranberries, a fall salad with a maple vinaigrette. I also made a loaf of dilly bread, which I will link that video down below that I made a few months ago. Thank you all for stopping in. I hope you're looking forward to the week, and I will see you on the next one.